Now, for some time, there's been grave concern about the pollution of our rivers and the mixed messages emanating from government, both the United Kingdom and also the nations of the United Kingdom, central and across the piece, about the role of farming in preserving the environment. So for today's Rural Spotlight, we're heading to Wales, where controversial rules aimed at reducing agricultural pollution, particularly in rivers, are being delayed by 3 months. Ministers will also consult on a licensing scheme, giving more generous allowances for farmers spreading slurry and fertiliser on land. Well, the farming unions and opposition parties are opposed. Joining me now to discuss this is Gareth Wyn Jones, a farmer based in Snowdonia, where his family have farmed for 350 years. He says farming's not a job, it's a way of life, and he enjoys producing food for other people and his family in a sustainable way. Great to see you, Gareth. What is the problem with these new proposals?
Well, the new proposals would have been really difficult because people haven't got the infrastructure there, and they would have to cut down on their stock immensely. We need storage if we're not allowed to put our fertiliser, our manure onto the land during the winter months. Let's not forget fertiliser is at its peak in price at the moment. So when we're using the natural fertiliser, you know, the manure and the slurry, no farmer wants any drop of that to go into the river. Let's not forget that. I think we need to address a few things as well. Look at some of the water companies that are pouring raw sewage into our rivers and into our seas, and that should be addressed before the finger is pointed at the farming industry. Yes, there's been problems in over the years, but there's a lot of new regulations. There's a lot of red tape that's come in that's helped this. But if Welsh Government going forward want to put this onto the shoulders of farmers and offering 20 million on schemes to get this developed, 20 million is peanuts compared to what it's going to cost every one farmer to store his manure over the winter months. So it needs to be addressed, and we need to look at it because we are at a food crisis and we need to be growing more of our own food in this country. We need to be more self-sufficient, and by bringing rules and regulations in like this, it's not helping the situation. So, I've got to say, well done to Plaid Cymru, Mab on Ap Gwynfor, who has worked really hard, and the NFU, who've done a great job at having a little bit more time, a little bit more breathing space. To the people that are working the land, Alistair, who are under enough pressure without having more pressures on our shoulders, we need to be working together. And Welsh Government, are good at a lot of things, but they need to listen to the people. And I'm so glad that they're having this consultation time now.
Well, let me say on that point about consultation, and it's free country, you're entitled to say what you want about Plaid Cymru or the Conservatives or any of the others. But you mentioned the government there, and the First Minister, Mark Drakeford himself, addresses two of your key points. He says the level of pollution incidents in the agricultural sphere is damaging the reputation of farmers, and they are damaging our environment. You mentioned the water companies. As far as Drakeford's concerned, you're the biggest offenders.
Well, that's a bit of bull, I would say to you. Literally, that's a lot of manure. Definitely the water companies are polluting a lot more than the farmers. Look, this is liquid gold to us. Manure is so important for us. And going forward with the price of artificial fertiliser at the moment at its absolute peak, no farmer is going to pour a drop of slurry into the river, and no farmer is going to put manure onto that ground unless it's soaked into the ground and not into the seas and into our watercourses. So, I disagree with him. Yes, we need legislations. Yes, we need rules and regulations. Don't get me wrong. But pointing the finger at the farmer again is an easy escape for them. They need to be working with us. So this consultation period now and farmers getting their voices heard is very, very important. And you know what? Leslie Griffiths, who's the Agricultural Minister or Minister for the Environment, has been up on the farm. We've had Lee Walters up here on the farm. He's a Deputy Minister. These people have been up here and they've seen what we're doing up here. It's environmentally producing food of top quality. We have got some of the best farmers in Britain, but we need support. We need less red tape, and we need to be working with government, not fighting them tooth and nail with every single situation. They need to be listening to the people that are producing the food and working the land.